Hi, this is Wiselab with Bachelor Cooking. So what bachelor doesn't love bacon? In fact, what human being doesn't love bacon? Everyone appreciates a nice, well-cooked, crispy strip of bacon. And today I'm going to show you how to make perfect bacon. And what I'm going to do today is show you 3 different ways of preparing bacon, and you can decide for yourself which method produces perfect bacon. For the first method, I'm going to show you how to prepare bacon in the microwave using a paper plate and some paper towels. In the second method, I'm going to put some bacon on a cookie sheet lined with foil and put it in the oven. For the third method, I'm actually going to do 2 versions of the third method, which is my favorite, stovetop cooking. I'm going to use one with a stainless steel pan, and the second I'm going to use with a carbon steel pan. The first method I'm going to go over is microwaving. Now you might think it an odd choice to decide to microwave bacon, but as it turns out, the microwave does a pretty decent job. And the best advantage is that it's super quick. You need approximately 1 minute per slice of bacon to get it nice and crispy. And so it's real simple. Take a paper plate or a microwave safe plate, put a paper towel on it, take my bacon, then lay the other strip just like so. Take another napkin and place it over the top. Then you take that, pop it into the microwave. I'm going to set it for 1.5 minutes and then check on it and then add some more time as needed. Alright, 1.5 minutes has gone by, so we're going to take out our bacon and give it a look-see. And looking at it, it actually looks done. For these 2 strips of bacon, they were thin enough that crisped up nicely with about 1.5 minutes in the microwave. The next method I'm going to show you is oven cooking bacon. Now the advantage of this method is you can cook a lot more bacon in the oven depending on the size of your pan. I just used a simple cookie sheet with a layer of foil lined on it. The foil just making it easier to clean up so I don't get burned bacon grease on my pan. The disadvantage to using the oven method is it takes longer. So if you're in a hurry, cooking bacon in the oven is probably not your best choice. So what I'm going to do is just lay a couple of strips of bacon on the foil and then pop it into the oven that's been preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm going to check on it in about 10 minutes. Again, the timing is going to vary depending on what bacon you're using, how thick it is. So always check your bacon. That's very important. That's one of the keys to making perfect bacon. Always check your bacon. So the first thing you want to do when you're preparing bacon via the stovetop method is preheat. Now I like to preheat on about medium-low. Now some people are advocates of putting cold bacon on a cold pan, but I'm not, and this is why. If you have a pan that heats unevenly and you put cold bacon to the cold pan, your bacon is going to heat unevenly and therefore it's going to cook unevenly, which means you're going to get bacon that's burned in the middle and then soggy towards the ends. And that's bad bacon. With this method, you're giving the pan enough time to heat up all the way throughout the pan so that when you put the bacon on, it will crisp up the entire length of the strip. Now, the drawback to preheating the pan before you cook the bacon is that you can easily overheat the pan, and therefore when you put the bacon on an overheated pan, it will burn really fast on the outside and you'll get a piece of bacon that's not cooked very well. It's sort of a combination of burned and still fat that's not yet crisped, and that's not bacon that you want. And so what I do is I preheat at a fairly low temperature, and so that helps to reduce the risk of overheating the pan. Now that our pans have had a little bit of time to preheat, I'm going to start with our stainless steel pan and put a couple of strips of bacon on that. Notice I'm not adding any oil to the pan since bacon has quite a bit of fat and that will lubricate it. And so you shouldn't get any really bad sticking. And if it sticks a little bit, you just take your spatula and dislodge it a little bit. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to check on the bacon in the oven. We can see that on the screen. Bacon is a nice brown color. You've got nice bubbles forming on the top. At this point, I think the bacon's done, so I'm going to take that out and let it drain on a paper towel to get crisped up. Now, as the bacon starts to turn a color, you want to flip it And flipping it helps to make sure that the bacon is cooking evenly, that you're not burning one side while the other side is left uncooked. So as you can see, it's crisping up nice and evenly across the length of the strip. So it's cooking really well here. Our other pan at this point, it should be preheated enough to throw the bacon on our carbon steel as well. The bacon in our stainless steel is just about done. Go ahead and give it another flip. See, a beautiful brown crispy color is apparent on the top of the strips, and probably just another 20 seconds or so on the other side, and we'll take that out and let it dry on a paper towel. Alright, that's done now, and even though it's still a little bit floppy, it'll get crispier once you put it on the paper towel. So don't worry that it's not completely as crispy as you like it yet. It will crisp up once you let it drain. Here's our last couple of strips cooking on the carbon steel pan. On a pan that heats more unevenly, like carbon steel or cast iron, make sure you know your pan's hot spots. Kind of move the bacon around to make sure that the bacon isn't sitting on a hot spot to burn. So I'm starting to see the browning coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and give these strips a flip. Sometimes what I do is as the bacon gets smaller, I kind of move the fattier pieces closer to the center of the pan where there's more heat so that it crisps up nicely all the way through. Okay, at this point in the game, you don't want to take your eyes off the bacon. It's very easy for the bacon to burn at this point. So once it gets to the right color, I usually do a few quick flips just to add a little extra crisp at the end. Sometimes if you want to help speed up the crispiness on the ends, you can flatten little fatty parts against the pan to help speed up the process and to help make it a little flatter. So I'm sitting here with the lineup of perfect bacon. I've used 3 different methods: microwave, oven, and stovetop, using 2 different types of pans. And what I've tried to do with each method is to bring out the best in the bacon with that particular method. So let's see which method produces the perfect bacon. So here we are. Here's the perfect bacon in all its glory. Starting on the left, we have the bacon cooked in the microwave. Next to it, we have 2 strips of bacon cooked in the oven. Next to that, 2 strips of bacon cooked on stainless steel. And then last but not least, 2 strips of bacon cooked on the carbon steel. Now notice there is differences in appearances. They're not drastic. Probably the most different set of strips would be the bacon cooked in the microwave. Color is much lighter, and the reason why it's lighter is because when you cook bacon on a direct heat source, you're getting more browning. The browning is not just for color, but actually also adds flavor, which is why you wouldn't cook a steak in the microwave. You don't get that nice sear that actually adds flavor to the steak. Alright, now for the fun part. I'm going to try each of these strips of bacon to see which one I prefer. Alright, first for the microwave bacon. Let's try it. It's crispy, decent flavor, tastes a little pretty thin. Now for the oven cooked bacon. This is crispier. The saltiness, for some reason, comes through a little bit more. You get a little bit more of the taste of the gristliness of the fat. Now for the stovetop bacon in the stainless steel. This has got a good crisp to it, and yet also has a very meaty taste as well. I like the flavor on this one. And finally, for the stovetop version on carbon steel. Again, very similar to stainless steel, a nice initial crispiness, but then you get the meatiness along with the full flavor of the bacon. Well, I've tried all the bacon, so let me give you my thoughts. Starting with the microwave bacon, it was crispy, it was somewhat tasty, but it had a little bit different flavor than the rest of the bacon. It was thinner, and it wasn't because of the original thickness of the bacon. For some reason, the microwave actually made the bacon thinner, and the coloring wasn't as nice as the bacon cooked via other methods. The reason for that is actually easy to understand, and it's something called the Maillard reaction. And the Maillard reaction is really what we normally call browning. What happens when you put a steak on a grill or on a cast iron skillet, for example, you get a nice sear of browning on the exterior of the meat, which is more than just looks, as it turns out, but actually adds flavor to it. What you're missing from the microwave bacon is that browning effect that adds flavor to any piece of meat. And so that was noticeable as we compared the microwave bacon to the bacon prepared via the other methods. On the positive side, the microwave bacon only took 1.5 minutes. So if you're in a hurry and need that bacon fixed, then the microwave method might just do the trick. The oven method took the longest time. It took about 10 minutes for the bacon to crisp up to the appropriate level of doneness. Visually, it was brown, it was appealing, it had a little bit of glistening on the top of it from the fat. It was very crispy, but it also had a slightly gristly taste to it. And it was more crispy than perhaps I'd like. I like crispy and a little bit of chew to my bacon, and the oven bacon was mostly just crispy. The third method, and my favorite method, is the stovetop method, and we tried that with stainless steel and with carbon steel. And there the bacon was crispy, had a nice brown color to it, and yet it had a chew to it. So the first thing you got was the crispiness, the crunch, and as you began to chew, there was the meatiness and the full flavor of the smokiness that we love about bacon. It was done all the way through, the right amount of crispiness, and so really I feel that the stovetop method produces the perfect bacon. There wasn't a whole lot of difference between the stainless steel and the carbon steel. It's probably more due to the length of time I put the bacon on each of those pans. Well, I hope you learned something. I certainly had a lot of fun eating bacon. So remember the following. Firstly, start with bacon that you love to eat. If you're using the stovetop method, be sure to preheat your pans so that the entire surface of the pan is hot enough to crisp up the bacon evenly. Periodically, flip the bacon with a spatula to make sure that the bacon is cooking evenly on both sides. And last but not least, watch your bacon. Watch your bacon. Don't let it burn. It's so easy to let bacon burn by walking away from it, not paying attention. The way you can tell that bacon is cooked perfectly is by color. You'll see it. Once it gets that nice sort of reddish, deep reddish brown, then the bacon is done all the way through. You don't have to wait till it gets crunchy in the pan. In fact, it will still be a little bit flexible when it's in the pan, and when you take it out and let it drain on a paper towel, it'll get nice and crispy. Alright YouTube, so there you have it. If you follow these simple steps, you too will be well on your way to perfect bacon. This is Wise Lad with Bachelor Cooking. I'm out. Peace.